All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to crack open a strategic playbook that's all about transforming your B2B cloud sales, specifically for the Sri Lankan market. We're talking about using the proven spin framework to take your conversations from just another pitch to a genuine partnership. So let's get into it. So let me ask you something. Does this question hit a little too close to home? If you're in B2B cloud sales, you know this feeling all too well. You've got a fantastic solution, you know it can help, but for some reason, the biggest, most important deals just seem to fizzle out. Well, here's a thought. The answer might not be in what you're saying, but in what you're asking.
You know, to really understand the solution, we've got to diagnose the problem first. And for a lot of us, the problem is that we're still using an old sales playbook that just doesn't work anymore, especially in today's really complex sales world.
This slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? It's a tale of two approaches. On the left, you've got the traditional way, leading with your product. It just feels like you're pushing something, and that naturally creates resistance, especially when you're dealing with multiple decision makers. But then, look to the right. That's the consultative model. Here, you're not pushing, you're diagnosing. You're building trust, showing you bring real value, and basically laying the groundwork for an actual partnership. And listen, this isn't just about learning a few new tricks or tactics. It's about a complete mindset shift. It's about fundamentally changing how you see your role, from someone who sells to someone who partners in your client's success. And this is the ultimate goal, becoming a trusted advisor. And that's not just some fancy title. It means you are a strategic asset to their business. You're not just selling a cloud service anymore, you're providing insights that solve their core business challenges. That's what makes you indispensable. This quote just nails it. It gets right to the heart of this entire change. It's really about letting go of the need to control the conversation. Instead of you doing all the talking, you actually gain more influence by asking the right questions. Think about that for a second. By giving up control of the talking, you actually gain control of the outcome. It's powerful stuff. So the big question is, how do we actually do this? How do we make this shift in a practical way? Well, the answer is in this scientifically backed method for structuring these powerful question-led conversations. Let's unpack the SPIN framework. Okay, first up is S for situation. Think of this as pure diagnosis. Your goal here is not to sell anything, it's simply to gather facts, kind of like a doctor understanding a patient's symptoms. And here's a pro tip, do your homework beforehand. It lets you ask really intelligent questions that show you've done your research and build credibility right from the start. So for cloud sales, you might ask something like this. See how these are all about facts, not opinions? They're totally non-threatening. They immediately position you as someone who genuinely wants to understand their world, not just jam a product down their throat. This is your foundation. All right, next we move on to P for problem. This is the discovery phase, and your job here is to gently guide the client to uncover and talk about their own challenges. You're not telling them what's wrong, you're helping them see it for themselves. With questions like these, you start to probe for where the pain is. You're getting them to talk about the friction in their day-to-day, the delays, the bottlenecks. You're helping them put words to problems they might not have even been focused on. Every yes you get here is planting a seed of need. Next is I for implication. And folks, this is the absolute pivotal moment in any complex sale. This is where you take those little problems you just uncovered and you blow them up. You connect a small technical hiccup to a massive business consequence. This is how you create real urgency. This quote says everything you need to know. A server that goes down isn't just a tech glitch anymore. When you ask the right implication question, it suddenly becomes lost revenue, it becomes damaged customer trust, it becomes a huge hit to their brand reputation. And here's exactly how you do it. These questions force the client to actually put a number on the pain. They shift the conversation from tech specs to what really matters: business metrics, revenue, reputation, strategic focus. This is how you build an undeniable business case for making a change. Finally, we get to N for need-payoff. This is the resolution, and the magic here is that instead you talking about how great your solution is, you ask questions that lead them to state the value. They literally start selling the solution to themselves. Just look at how these questions are framed. They're positive, they're focused on the solution, they're designed to get the client dreaming about that better future and saying why it's so valuable in their own words. And believe me, when they say it, It's 100 times more powerful than when you do.
Okay, so that's the theory. Now, let's bring it into the real world. Let's look at how this whole framework comes together as a practical strategy, especially when we consider the unique opportunities and challenges right here in the Sri Lankan market. You've got to know the local context. And right now in Sri Lanka, the National Digital Economy Strategy 2030 is a complete game changer. This opens up a huge door for critical conversations about things like data residency and compliance. Just imagine asking an implication question like, with the government's new focus on data sovereignty, what's the potential business risk of being found non-compliant? All of a sudden, your solution isn't just a cloud service. It's a strategic move that aligns with national policy. And what about objections? We all get them. This table is basically your tactical guide. You have to remember, an objection isn't a no, it's a signal. When a client says it's too expensive, the real issue is that they don't see the value. So you don't argue about the price. You use implication questions to show them the massive cost of doing nothing. If they're worried about a complex migration, that's just fear talking. So you use need-payoff questions to help them imagine how smooth and supported that transition could be. All right, let's bring this all home. The goal of this entire process, this whole mindset shift, isn't just about closing one deal. It's about building a career and a reputation as a genuine, trusted advisor. And here's your roadmap step by step. Number 1, research, always. Number 2, practice. Role play these question flows until they feel completely natural. 3, analyze your calls and learn what works. And 4, use the modern tools available to you. But honestly, if you do nothing else, just focus on number 2, practice. This is not about memorizing a script. It's about building a new conversational muscle. So in the end, it all comes down to this one simple question. The old playbook? Well, that makes you a vendor. You're easily replaced. You're always competing on price. But this new approach, the consultative, spin-based way, that transforms you into an indispensable partner, someone who is deeply woven into your client's success. The choice really is yours.